I'm not sure if you ever watched any of these videos when you were considering using us or not, or
Well, I found the information online really helpful, and everyone's really positive about British home sellers. So it's certainly something that you listen to people's feedback and reviews about these things.
exactly. So we love doing these for that reason, because it's so much more real when you can see what customers think about it, about us, rather than just read reviews. But also the team watch these here, and it has a big impact on the team to be able to see what customers have thought about the experience, and it makes it just more real and personal to them, which is motivational. I mean, do you have any questions your own before we kick off, or?
No, it's fine. Thank you.
So to start, it'd be great to understand, how you came across us, the situation you were in when you were considering us, and why you ended up using us.
So I originally so my house went on the market. I put it on the market last June. I think it was June, and I went with a local estate agent. Um, and to be honest, the contrast, I'm so glad I changed to British home sellers. It's an amazingly different process when you're working with people who are very interested in helping you sell your property. You feel like any person they're working with is super important to them, and they'll take control of it and make sure that you're a priority. So with this other estate agent, in fact, one day a letter came through the post from British Home Sellers, and at that point, I was still dealing with this other estate agent. But I got a bit fed up, to be honest, that they weren't that eager to sell my property, that I was having to chase them about stuff. I'd accepted an offer last year, but I wasn't too pleased with the way the person who'd made the offer was sort of operating. Basically, it wasn't clear whether they really genuinely had a mortgage or had capacity for a mortgage. I was hoping that my estate agent would actually act on my behalf and chase it up, but they didn't do that. So in the end, I gave them notice because I'd spoken to you guys, and it was a very different sort of feeling straight away. And I wanted to transfer to you. And so from that point onwards, Rob was the person who took control of my selling of my house. And later down the line, Charles also helped with that. And straight away, you just felt like this person really cares about you and what you're going through, understood of some of my background and some of the situations that I've been involved with, which has led to me selling my house. And then was immediately a sort of intermediary between me and the buyers who actually did buy my house, and the solicitors and all that. So it was just a totally different. I mean, if you've never gone with something like British Home Sellers, you will know the difference if you've gone with a normal estate agent. And I know now, because now I'm looking at other houses, and again, it's very different when you're not dealing with somebody who takes it as seriously as British Home Sellers do.
Well, so even now that you're looking to buy properties, you can tell, even from a buyer's perspective, the difference in how it's been dealt
Definitely.
with.
Yeah, because I never had to sort of keep ringing Rob or anything like that. If I rang, I mean, very rarely there wouldn't be an answer, but straight away get a call back, or there'd be a voicemail left. There was never a sense that you're having to chase anybody. They'll always contact you. You're the person that they'll be chasing, not the other way around. It's a very different situation. Just trying to sort of get in touch with people, and you feel like, look, I'm trying to buy something, I'm trying to sell something. Really, I thought you'd be interested in that, not sort of make you feel like you're sort of being a pest or something like that, kind of.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, exactly. Especially when everyone, in theory, has incentive to
Yeah.
want to sell or make sure it gets sold or bought or whatever. And I guess when you were considering us, did you have any reservations about considering us? Because it is quite a shift from using someone on the high street to then actually using an online based property company. For a lot of people, it's a bit of a leap of faith.
Yeah, I suppose like if people would find it off, because you can't just go into the estate agents or something like that. I mean, and it is more expensive. But what I would say is this: you couldn't have a more attentive agency than British Home Sales. I mean, the fact you can't go and walk into the office and see them, they're always on the phone, always at the end of an email, they'll always reply. So, especially in this day and age, you don't really need that necessarily anyway. It's more that you want things to be done, and you
Yeah.
want to know that they're being done. I didn't have to, as soon as I had British Home Sellers involved, I didn't have to worry anymore. Okay, obviously I was still stressed about selling my house, but I didn't have to worry that it wasn't going to be pushed forward by somebody else. I put it in their hands and then they got on with it. So I had to do stuff along the way, but I never thought there's nobody else looking out for it. And even like after the sale, there was something else I needed. So I rang Rob and he immediately sorted that out as well. So if there was any way down the line I had concerns or I wasn't sure what was going on, whether it was the buyer or my solicitor or their solicitors, there was always somebody I could talk to. And there was always somebody that would say, well, I'll look into that for you. I'll speak to them for you. I'll talk to the buyers on your behalf. I didn't really need to do anything like that. And so as soon as the stress goes out of it from that perspective, and that's really important. And the other thing I'd say in terms of 1% or 1.75%, sometimes it's worth paying more to get the best job possible. I don't think that my house would have sold if I hadn't been with British Home Sellers. It's because they really pushed it forward as well. And that was one of the best decisions I've ever made, to change from a high street estate agent to an online one. Like you guys.
So, no, I'm glad you mentioned the things around fees, because we've always, like, we charge what we need to make sure the service is excellent. Because actually, if we charged less, then the reality is we then have less people trying to do more. And then that's where you start having issues with the agent not calling you back or not getting that support. And when it comes to like property, it's such a big part, like usually it's our biggest financial asset in life. You kind of want to make sure it's dealt with properly.
Definitely. I mean, if anyone had concerns about that, I'd say it's worth spending on. You don't want to be endlessly ringing somebody. Okay. I mean, if I rang Rob or Charles, they didn't answer, I wouldn't have to ring again. They'd ring back. That would be it. And so if you're going to spend money, if you want to spend money on something that's, first class, then spend it on this. Because like you're saying, it is the most important thing that you have. That was my main asset. So I'm so glad that I spent the money on something that made sure that I could sell that as expediently as possible and with as little stress as you could have in relation to buying and selling houses, which is obviously quite stressful. It just took so much off my shoulders to know that there's other people who are really on top of it on my behalf. Especially in terms of, like stuff like inquiries or just finding out, are we completing? What time is it going to be? And making you feel, sort of alleviating it, because you can get a bit sort of het up about things and just say, it's okay, it'll all be fine. sort of minor counselling.
Yeah. The thing is, no matter how easy we try to make it, it's still stressful. Like, it's hard to not be stressful. Yeah, I mean, one of the things we've got on the office, like on the wall in the office, everyone can see, is kindness.
Yeah.
And it reminds everyone, like, it's selling a property can be the most stressful thing people go through. Like, act with kindness, because we're there to help. We're not there to do anything but help. Are there any other aspects of the service you particularly liked, especially in contrast to your last agent, or was it really mainly the communication side of things that just kind of made the biggest difference?
Well, I think when you just said about kindness there, I think that is another aspect as well. I mean, communication was a massive thing, really big difference, total contrast. But also in terms of how you're spoken to, because as like you were just saying, it is stressful. However, much easier it's made by having the right people in place. It can still get quite stressful. I found with the other estate agents, you just felt a bit sort of dismissed, or if you were being annoying. I got the sense before I changed that it was a bit more like they were acting on behalf of the buyer rather than me, the seller. As if I should just wait, or well, if this is causing me concern, then you should actually be concerned about it, because I'm the person ultimately will be paying you. Well, that will come from the sale of the house. So it was more, you should be on my side of it as well.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Not sort of fighting my corner, not say, oh, well, as if I'm being impatient. If somebody's made 2 or 3 different offers, what's their genuine offer? And so why it's not unreasonable for me to be concerned about that. So you could be making me feel better rather than. So definitely, I think whenever you speak to somebody at British Home Sellers, they're always going to be really polite. They're always going to listen to you. They always try to make you feel better, even if you're getting a bit impatient about something. they won't make you feel worse about that. They'll make you feel that it's all in hand and that you don't need to worry about it. And they don't get
That's
flustered
lovely.
about it either.
No, it honestly, I'm most excited about the team hearing this, because it's just all like, of course, everything we do is about building a culture that encourages all the things we've spoken about, being kind, patient, communication being so key. But it can be difficult when we're not seeing people face to face. It's, everything is over the phone. And so it can feel from the team's perspective, it can often feel like a thankless task sometimes.
Yeah.
And so actually being able to watch this and have yourself say how valuable it's been to you to have that quality service is going to make the team feel great. And it's going to then motivate them to keep doing that. And it motivates me to keep doing it. Like it's the best thing about these sort of video calls is this. Are there any, for anyone who's sort of on the fence whether to use us right now, for example, they might be watching this and thinking, I'm not sure. Like, what advice would you give them? What insight would you give them that might help them make a decision?
I'd say you won't regret it, especially if you've tried another estate agent, you really won't regret it. You'll see the contrast directly. As soon as you transfer to British Home Sales, you'll see immediate difference, because you'll immediately get somebody talking to you, making you feel that everything's going to be okay. You're in safe hands. It will take the stress out of it. Believe me, I've had a very stressful situation with my and it was years of just stress in relation to our house. And as soon as I transferred over to British Home Sellers, it's a world of difference. I'm not just saying that. I completed on my house on the 28th of March. Now I transferred to British Home Sellers in October. It's been made so much easier. So it's a genuine thing, and you've always got somebody to speak to. You don't have to worry about anything in relation to that. So if you're on the fence, get off the fence and just go with British Home Sales, because there's no point in wasting time. If I'd known about this before, I'd have just gone straight with you guys anyway. So it would have saved me a few months, to be honest. I wish I'd done that. But it's turned out brilliant in the end, thanks to you guys. So yeah, don't waste time. Just go with British Home Sales. Save yourself some stress.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything you've said. It's really, honestly, it's really appreciated. Although everything is finished in terms of the sale, if any loose ends ever come up, always feel free to contact us.
I know, appreciate that. I've already contacted Rob a couple of times about stuff. Like, you never get rid of us once we've like, hi, just talk to you for a minute. No, but thank you all.
No, it's absolutely fine, honestly. And I mean, is anything you'd like to add, or any questions, or is that sort of, do you feel you've said everything that you want to say and shared everything you want to share?
I think so. I mean, I hadn't really thought about that perspective, that you don't get the thanks you deserve, really, because it is online. So yeah, thank you all for all your help. Thank you, Rob. Thanks, Charles. Thanks, everybody who's part of the team. It's really appreciated. And I'm really happy now
Thank
because my
you.
house is sold.
Thank you. Oh.